In the interest of time, I started this right before I started recording, so it's loading the memory bank. I start my prompts with just a simple hello Cline, um, and let it load the memory bank from there. The way this works in the episodic memory bank is it loads all of the core memories, the core. It's like synaptic memory. It's always loaded. Um, it links to a bunch of neurons which form a graph. These entry point neurons into the graph are loaded, and then it has context of all of the connected parts. So the it looks like this to the model. It has these entry points and all of this information that's tangential to the entry points that it might need to load depending on context. So um, what I wanted to show off was voice to voice communication. RIP headphones. Sorry, it gets loud when I do voice to voice for some reason. But let's see. I've been reconsidering adding the Bastion host back into our Terraform infrastructure. I want to do it as cheaply as possible. So I can use my voice to type to Cline, but Cline can also use his voice to type to me if he chooses to. Or if I tell him to do something, like if I say yell at me when you're done with this, he knows that I mean for him to use his voice so that um, I know that he's done with a certain task. That way I can sort of get a notification that something's done. I can go do other things. I can cook dinner or whatever while Cline's doing his thing. So he's come up with a plan of how he's going to um, uh, implement a cheap approach to standing up a new Bastion host. But let's try the voice to voice.
Voice-to-voice mode is now active. I've got your Bastion host plan ready. We can restore it for about $4.65 per month using a spot instance, which is 35% cheaper than the original setup.
So it's kind of cool. Um, I think it's a useful little tool to have in your toolbox. Um, I plan to share it once I unify it. I want to cook everything into the MCP instead of having like make it require some API service that I happen to have locally available. Um, I but then I'll publish it so people can use the Kokoro powered, and it's using CPU. It's plenty fast. The speeds are plenty fast for what we need. So rock and roll, everybody. I hope you have a good day. Peace.